Hi, and welcome to another edition of Onside SA, the soccer show to let you know what's going on. And we're getting into stride with the World Cup in Russia, and some interesting results, some great results. And we're going to be talking to Stevie B, our international pundit, because he now knows his Fulham fixtures, his beloved Fulham, who've been promoted. Of course, I've got Budge, the expert, with me. And as soon as we get Stevie B on the line, we'll bring him into conversation. But Budge, wonderful to get into the World Cup.
And the best thing about it, Paul, is a lot of teams are now under pressure, especially the bigger teams. So no more mistakes now.
I just think it's got to the stage, Budge, where we discussed last week, you can park the bus if you get ahead, and it's hard to beat teams. We've seen it happen to Germany, we've seen it happen, but I don't know if the big teams are that far ahead of the others anymore.
Yeah, no, they're not, because obviously there's not as many great players floating around as there were. But a lot of tight games, Paul, the pressure, but we'll see the knockout stages. Just having a look at the lesser teams, I don't know how much stock they've actually got. They've got one or two good players, but I think the bigger teams will come through in the end.
Yeah, I saw a great photograph of Putin and your boss,
Mourinho.
Yeah, did you see it? Yeah. Putin and the Minister of Defence.
Oh, he's smart, yeah.
He's looking at bus companies while he's over there to park the bus. Okay, I believe we've got the international pundit, Stevie B. Steve, you there? Hello, Steve.
Morning.
Morning, hey, Steve. How's the UK at the moment?
It's fine. You know, we're basking in the glorious victory over Tunisia, and we've got some sunshine, so it's all good.
Oh, good. Well, two of your countrymen are flying out to watch the rugby. Rob Tudor and Chesney are flying out. They're going to meet us down at the game this week. And just before we talk football, we'll talk rugby again. You want to talk rugby?
Not particularly, no.
Okay, good. Well, guys, before we talk about the World Cup, Steve, Budge and I have just been talking, and Budge looked at the fixtures for Fulham, and just to let you know what your second game is.
Nice, easy start for you. 2 local derbies, Steve.
I know. Unfortunately, our first away game is not going to be at the new White Hart Lane. It's going to be back at Wembley.
Okay.
So, having not played there for 43 years, we now get to play there for the 2 away games in a row.
Yeah. That should be a comfortable 4-point start for you, I think. Yeah. Beat Palace at home, draw at Wembley.
When I look at the fixtures, I mean, obviously, we've been waiting 4 years to get back into the Premier League.
Yeah.
Whether or not we'd rather be seeing us beat Wigan 5-0 or losing at home to Man City 5-0, but I think that's ultimately that's what everybody wants. And it's I've heard already that the demand for tickets has been huge at Fulham. They've basically stopped selling season tickets.
Okay.
I see Janice Lafferty's got a season ticket at Fulham. What's going on, Stevie?
Well, I had to buy it because they weren't seeing any more season tickets, but I managed to get one through my contacts there.
So you're going to be trooping off with Janice down to watch your beloved Fulham.
Yeah. Well, I think she thought that when you come over to the UK, you'd enjoy going to a nice family club and watching some football.
Absolutely. Always good to have season tickets in London for the main games. Stevie, as Budgie said, just touching on your first 3 games. Crystal Palace at home, Spurs away, home to Man United.
No, Man United's on there in February. No, I had to have a look at that. February the 9th.
February the 9th, that's right, sorry.
Burnley. We've got Man City coming up, away. There's some tough games. When you look at, there are no easy games, are there, in the Premier League?
No, that's true.
For clubs.
Stevie, what's the feeling in London or in the UK about England's performance and England's chances?
Well, I don't think people realistically think that England are going to sort of progress to the very latter stages. But I think when you look at, in the context of some of the other results, the fact that they won, they made hard work of it, as we know. They should have been 2 or 3 up after about 15 minutes. But ultimately, when you look at some of the big teams and the favourites like Germany, Brazil, Argentina, none of them have got a win between them. So I think at the moment, to be fair, they were talking about Uruguay. They were saying they don't play pretty football, but they've come away with 2 1-0 wins. And I think in the group stage, that's all you need to do.
Steve, just looking at the knockout stage, it'll suit England to finish second in the group, just by the way the initial results.
I know, it's interesting. Everyone's sort of looking at that and predicting that. And actually, as things stand, I think if England beat Panama, then they will finish second, unless they beat Belgium. And somehow I think that in the past, when England have scraped through, they finished second, and they've ended up playing one of the strong teams as winners of their group. So, I think the key really is you just got to get through and then worry about it at that point.
Yeah, I just wonder if some of these teams are going to look at the knockout stage, especially if Germany don't win their group and Argentina don't win their group. They go into the top half of the draw. Then it may be better for one or two of the other teams to finish and play in the lower half.
You're right. I mean, when you get to that third, I don't think people will be thinking that at this stage with playing their second game. But when they get to that third game, then you might find it gets a bit tactical to the team thinking, well, actually, we'll take a draw in this game, or it doesn't matter if we lose because we're going through anyway, and we don't want to be playing one of the big teams who are going to be finishing, not where expected. So, I mean, there could still be some shocks. I mean, tonight would be a cracking Croatia-Argentina.
Yeah. Well, if Croatia don't get beat, Croatia don't get beat, they should finish top of the group, and then it's Argentina-France.
Yeah. So, I think you're right. I think Croatia sort of hold Argentina and win their next game, then they will win the group, and all of a sudden, as you say, you've got Argentina finishing second.
And I think if Mexico win their group, I think the Germans will run second. They could play Brazil in the last 16, Germany-Brazil.
Yeah, which would be, I mean, that's, for a lot of people, that was their fancied final.
Yeah.
So, no, I think it does make it interesting. And there have been some, results that weren't expected. I think when we spoke last week, we were talking about who we thought the top African team, and I sort of said I thought Senegal, and they played very well and against a relatively poor sort of Poland team.
There was a complaint from the Poles. They said Niang went off for an injury, and he came on without the referee acknowledging him coming on.
That wasn't actually. I mean, the referee did wave him on.
Oh, did he?
But
okay.
He waved him on at a point where he was in a very advantageous position.
Correct.
So I think it wasn't so much that he wasn't waved on, because certainly I saw that the referee called him on, but I don't think the Polish players sort of realised he was coming on at that point and where he was. Having said that, it was a shocking pass back. I mean, Kovacic was in Senegal's half. I mean, why he's passing back from there, I really don't know.
Stevie, it's getting to the stage now in the World Cup where games are so crucial. They're like cup finals. I'm just talking about a game that's got to come up now. Iran, who I watched play last night, who I thought were very good, had played Portugal. Now, if Iran beat Portugal, Portugal are out.
Yeah, I mean that's the craziness of it. It's but actually it does make it exciting. Obviously, you've got some groups. So, for example, in Russia's group, Russia and Uruguay have both won their games. They're both through. So the other teams have got no points at all. Now, between Russia and Uruguay, I guess it's going to be depending on who wants it more to win the group. Russia will take a draw because they'll win the group.
Yeah.
And as you say, I think it does make it more interesting when you go into that last round of games, especially when all the group games are played at the same time. So the two games are played at the same time. So nobody has that sort of advantage. And I think it makes it more interesting if there is something riding on the last game.
Yeah. It gets very tactical, and sometimes it's you might have a guy who goes over to watch the World Cup, Steve, and he's got a third round of the round robin matches, the third match in the round robin, and both teams need a draw.
Yeah.
It's not a spectacle anymore. There should be, for me, some incentive. You win a game, you get X amount of money as well, because I remember in 2010 I went to watch.
It was the Brazil-Portugal.
Brazil-Portugal, and it was the most dour. They never got into the other third, and that's not the spirit of the game, because they just both wanted to qualify.
Well, I think this is, unfortunately, I think there was a game many years ago, you may remember.
Germany, Austria,
and
82 World Cup, 1-0 was the perfect score.
1-0 win suited both teams, and that was the result, and it was, nobody was interested in attacking after that. And I think it's hard to stop that, where you've got, both teams have already pretty much gone through, so... I'm not quite sure what they could do about that, but you're right. I mean, obviously, we don't want to see sort of games like that, because as I say, people pay a lot of money, travel a long way,
and Steve,
to go and watch the World Cup.
Steve, another quick question before we leave you: your take on Mo Salah coming back?
Well, they're obviously desperate to get him in the team as a talisman. He obviously wasn't at all fit. They put him on the bench for the first game, but he was never coming on. and he didn't quite look, he wasn't quite at it, as we've seen him play for Liverpool. I mean, it was to come back from that injury, and it was a very short space of time. So, he obviously won't play in the last game, and I think, as I was saying to Michael Aboud, I think, it's probably more important for him and Liverpool now that he just goes home and rests and comes back fit for the new season.
Yeah, you don't think he'll start, Steve? Or you think that's Liverpool?
Well, Egypt are out, so I can't see any point really in risking him if there's any danger at all that he's not fit. I mean,
he's got his World Cup gold. Yeah. Stevie, just before we let you go, we want to see what type of tipster you are. We've got 3 games today, and I'm going to ask you who you think's going to win. Denmark, Australia.
Okay. I think France will. I think it'll be tight.
France? Denmark versus Australia.
Denmark, Australia.
Yeah, do you want to start?
I can predict the France-Australia. I think it'll be a close game and France will win 2-1.
Yeah.
But I think Denmark-Australia, I think will be tight, but I think Denmark will edge that by a goal.
Okay, Denmark to edge it. France-Peru?
I think the same thing. I think it'll be tight. I mean, obviously Peru can't afford to lose. I think they'll fight, but I think that France will just be too strong, and I think France will edge that as well.
And the last one, I think, is a good game, Argentina-Croatia. A lot to play for.
Well, I think that's going to be a cracking game. Yeah. I'm actually going to take a draw there. I can't see Argentina can't afford to lose that.
Yeah,
I think Croatia are very strong. They've got a great midfield.
Yeah.
I think that they could hold Argentina.
Should be interesting. Stevie, thanks very much, and we'll have a lot more info by this time next week, eh, Budge?
Guaranteed, yeah.
All right, Steve, we'll speak to you next week.
By this time next week, quite a few of the groups would have already played 3 games. So, we'll know. England will play their last game against Belgium next Thursday night.
Correct, yeah.
Perfect. All right, Stevie, everything of the best, and thanks once again.
Pleasure. Talk to you soon.
Steve.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, Budge, now let's get on to the games that count. Now, the interesting games, these are the group matches coming along for our gambling. I think we'll have a slide that'll tell us where we are. And Budge, Brazil have to win now.
Yeah, they've got to win this.
Are Costa Rica any good?
No, they fought hard, Paul.
Yeah.
But, the goalkeeper played great for them. Yeah. But I just think Brazil have got to come back. The pressure's on now. It's time for Neymar to cut his tricks and start playing for the team.
What was the story, Budge, with his diving and all that,
he did get bumped once or twice. But like Ronaldo last night, they just... they just go overboard.
Yeah.
They just get on with the game and play.
Yeah.
And I think the coach won't take nonsense.
I'll ask you, you and I played at the highest level in this country. I never dived once in my life.
Well, it wasn't part of the culture.
It wasn't part of the culture.
They've got to have, like rugby, they've got to start banning these guys.
Yeah. If we got tackled, it was a fair tackle, or it was a bad tackle, and we got a free kick, we got up. Nowadays, I've seen defenders letting the ball run out of touch. A guy puts his hand on his back, but he goes down like he's been hit with an axe.
And the favourite one with a penalty is they slide their foot in amongst the defenders and then they take a tumble.
Yeah.
So I must say the VAR hasn't been bad. There's been 1 or 2 dodgy decisions, but I like what I've seen so far.
I like what I see. The immediate call by the commentator was that our friend Mo Salah, the Egyptian king, was outside the box. He was inside the box in the penalty. All right, Brazil, good things.
Yeah, I should be, Paul. They can't win this. There'll be a riot in Rio, but I think they'll be too good for Costa Rica.
Now, here's a chance for Nigeria to bounce back.
Yeah, they were terrible against Croatia. You got it. This is it. It's put up or shut up, or they're gone.
Dinner.
Iceland, they're going to park the bus and have a full
they're the clappers.
They're the clappers, the orcas. Yeah. I see Messi's come out and had a go at them. What do you expect Iceland to do?
What did Messi say?
They were saying it's not good for football the way they play, but it's not Barcelona he's playing for.
Get used to it. That's what's happening. People
Maradona had it every time he played for Argentina. Man marked, kicked up and down. He got on with it. Not Iceland.
Every Argentina guy, not every, but most of them get the ball they look for Messi.
Well, they have to.
He's just such a genius.
Class player.
Serbia, they won their first game.
This will be, I tell you what, Paul, there'll be some panel beating in this game. I think
Switzerland got a draw, didn't they?
Switzerland drew with Brazil. I thought they were fortunate with a goal. It looked like a push. Don't know why the guy didn't go upstairs. Serbia, great free kick from Kolarov to beat Costa Rica. Yeah. Brilliant free kick. So that'll be a tight game. In the same group as Brazil, so Switzerland.
Belgium got 3, eh?
Yeah, eventually that.
I wasn't mad about Lukaku's performance. He took that last goal very well.
You got to get balls into the box. Yeah. When you have a look, he's better running to the left-hand side of the pitch because it's on his left foot.
Yeah.
When it's on the other side, he's a bit clumsy and he looks awkward. But he took the goals well.
De Bruyne never shone.
Yeah, but he's played in the midfield.
Yeah, he never shone.
He can't track back.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, he's got to move forward. They've got Mertens. I think they'll drop Dries Mertens and play him further forward when they play England.
Dembele.
Yeah, he's got to play.
Yeah, Dembele's got to play.
Should be too good for. But Tunisia, I didn't think were as bad as everybody said. I thought they gave England a hard game. I know England should have had 4 or 5.
They can play. They can play. You
Definitely.
know, first 15 minutes they were swamped.
Yeah.
And the other team was stacked. They both your words, stacked.
Yeah, stacked, yep.
Budge, South Korea.
Yeah, they've got to have a go. Otherwise, they're gone. I think this will be Mexico, Paul, love to watch them. But just have a go.
They got a fantastic result, but they had a couple of chances before they scored.
Jeez, plenty.
Yeah. So
that should be goals in that game, Paul, because South Korea got to have a go. Mexico, no one way.
Yeah.
And a big game. Mexico win that, throws the whole World Cup, the knockout stages, because the Germans are in the top half, and that's where you don't want to be.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at...
Well, it's make or break. You know, they were unlucky, Germany, against Mexico. I think they had 25 attempts. It just didn't go. But their midfield is questionable. And we said it prior. Kadira and Kroos and Ozil, they don't track back.
When they got their goal, Ozil was the man tracking back.
Yeah. It's strange. First time I've seen him do that for a long time. But the other two were poor. But you've got to expect a response.
Sweden aren't monkeys.
No, they'll sit and park the bus. They knocked out Italy and the Netherlands. So if they get a draw... they got Mexico in the last game, so that'll suit them, and then the Germans are under pressure.
England 1-5 Panama, is that accurate?
It should be, Paul. Panama, nothing. Just got a team of panel beaters. I think there'll be a red card in this game.
They had great supporters.
Yeah.
Well, they were
trying to get out of the country. What do you...
Cross the canal and up you go.
Up you go, yeah. They'll have a go, Paul. They'll be, they're nothing to lose, so why not have a go? England should win.
The next game's a good game, Budge.
Japan, Senegal. Well, we fancy. So I think Senegal will beat them. Yeah, they both got 3 points. I couldn't believe Japan beat Colombia, but the guy got sent off. Shocking. He was at Aston Villa.
Why was James Rodriguez on the bench?
He was injured, carrying an injury.
Okay.
He'll start the game against Poland.
Is he with the German club?
He's at Bayern Munich. Yeah, he's on loan from Real Madrid.
That's right. Yeah.
But I think Senegal will beat Japan. They're a good team, Senegal. They've got players all the way through the team. Some guys have got weaknesses at the back, in the middle. They've got good players. Niang and they got Sacco, Sane. They've got good players, Paul.
I was impressed.
I think they'll, with that result, great result for them.
Poland,
Colombia, well, they both got beat. So it's an end-to-end. It's got to be a goals game, Paul. They both get beat, they're gone. So while the draw may suit Japan and Senegal, anything but a victory in that game and you're right.
Yeah.
Because they got beat. Poland lost to Senegal and Colombia lost to Japan. So
okay, let's move on, Budge.
Yep.
Uruguay. Rassi used to play for Latiguay. He always had a cigarette. He was a Latiguayan international.
Kenny Knowles, yeah.
Uruguay, Russia.
It just depends.
Lot to play for?
Uruguay, I haven't been impressed with them. They were terrible in the first game. They were poor last night.
Yeah.
And Suarez, while he scored the goal, his contribution's been minimal.
The opposition had a clear-cut chance to level it. He stuck it over the top.
Stuck it over the bar. And that was Saudi Arabia, who lost 5-0 in the first game.
Yeah.
Russia, they've done well.
Yeah, they've impressed me.
Langestein up front.
He has a go,
Has a go. They get the ball into it.
And they've got a couple of boys in the middle who drive a bit. So Russia impressed me.
I don't see 22-10 Russia. I think a draw is a player, but it's all about Uruguay.
Yeah.
Because do they want to... if you finish second, you could play Spain. If you top the group, you more than likely play Portugal or Iran. So you'd love to top the groups. Yeah. But I think it'll be a good game, that.
Yeah. How about...
Saudi Arabia, Egypt. Well, it just depends. Are they going to play their squad players? Because if you've lost both games...
they're both out.
They're both out. The other teams have got 6 points each. So what are you going to do? Well, let's give all the guys that helped us get there. It should be an end-to-end game. I think there's plenty of goals expected there. Obviously, Egypt are the better team. But, Saudi Arabia played well last night against Uruguay.
Yeah, they did. Iran, Portugal. Whoa, this is some game on Monday. Game. Iran should not be 8-1.
No. Well, Portugal, Paul, got murdered. Morocco totally outplayed them.
Yeah.
I can't believe they never marked Ronaldo for the corner.
I'm going for Iran.
Yeah, could well be Iran in a draw, because a draw will suit Portugal. Because then they go through. Because Iran have got 3 points, Spain and Portugal have got 4. So Portugal win or draw.
But Iran will go to 4 as well.
Yeah, no, but then Portugal go to 5.
Yeah, correct. So they need a win.
They've got Iran, the moment they went 1-0 down, they had a go at Spain.
How they crosses the box, the big boys coming through. They're a good side.
And they scored, got disallowed. But
Spain, Morocco.
It should. You've got to fancy Spain, Paul. They're a team. I listened to a guy chat the other day. There's a lot of players out there looking for bigger moves.
Yeah.
Spain are a team.
Yeah.
There are 1 or 2 shortfalls, but I think they're the most complete team I've seen so far, Paul.
All right, let's go look at the MLS.
Yep.
It's paled, obviously, because of the World Cup. But
the Americans aren't in it,
Yeah,
Paul, Philadelphia I fancy. A lot of, as usual in the States, a lot of teams at home far better form at home than away. Philadelphia should be too good for Vancouver. The next game's a good game because Dallas are second in the Western Conference, which does look the weaker conference of the two. You know, the New York Red Bulls, obviously favourites.
Are they cross-conferencing?
Yeah, especially this week, yeah. You know, New York Red Bulls win and draw with the Red Bulls. Now, the next game is a nightmare. Montreal, the last 13 away games, they've lost 12. Orlando City have lost their last 6 games. So any result's possible there. Obviously, the home team's favourite, but I wouldn't like to have a bet in that one.
Sporting Kentucky Chicken?
Yeah, they're the best team in the West. They should be too good for Houston. 6 to 10's in our bets. Colorado, another nightmare team. Minnesota have lost their last 6 away from home. Colorado have got 1 point out of the last 9 league games.
Wow.
Desperation game. I like Minnesota in the better conference, better form at home, but
yeah, they're away.
You know, the betting's...
Okay, how about Seattle?
Well, Seattle, the lowest goal scorers in the MLS. Chicago's Bastian Schweinsteiger's team, they've come right. You know, hard to win in Seattle, but Seattle in the draw for me there, Paul. You know, but it's 1, 2, 3 in the exotics. Yeah. Real Salt Lake should be too good for San Jose.
They call themselves Real Salt Lake.
Yeah,
they think they're Real Madrid.
Yeah, well, I think they're in Utah, so it must be near the Salt Lake. So 6 to 10's in our bets. Los Angeles, they've lost Carlos Vela. He's gone to the World Cup with Mexico. Bob Bradley, remember the guy with the expensive watch? He's in charge. Yeah, he was at Swansea. He's in charge of them there.
The expensive watch was Sean Dyche.
Oh, is it Sean
Dyche, yeah.
Sean Dyche, yeah.
Bob Bradley came to Swansea.
He was at Swansea. He was there from American owners. Didn't last. It was 6 games and they got rid of him. So that's Columbus are going well in the East. That's a tight game. 26 to 10. The draw is a big player. Atlanta, managed by the guy who Gerard Martino was at Barcelona and Argentina. They should be too good for.
Isn't there a team called Atalanta as well?
That's in Italy.
Italy, yeah.
Atlanta United's the guy that owns the Atlanta Falcons. He owns all those franchises there.
Okay.
And New York City, Patrick Vieira was the coach. He's gone. He's gone to Nice. So they've got an assistant coach from Man City who's gone there as a manager.
Okay.
So them in Toronto. Toronto won the whole thing last year. They've been terrible this year, so it should be New York City.
Should be New York City. Okay, let's look at your bets, Budge. Let's look at your
the soccer six. I banked Belgium. I think they'll be too good for Tunisia. The next game's a Norwegian game. Molde, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team. They should be too good for Stayback, but we can throw the draw in there looking for an upset. I like Mexico. While they should beat South Korea, the draw comes in with Mexico, so I've thrown the draw in. I think Germany will be too good for Sweden. I know they're going to park the bus, but I think the Germans will eventually wear them down. Coritiba, Figueirense. If they lose, they're out, the Germans, Okay. Coritiba, Figueirense, it's a Brazilian Serie B game. I've gone the field there. And Los Angeles, Columbus Crew. Good teams, Columbus Crew. So I've gone the field there as well. 2-1-6.
Okay, the next one?
The next one is the American one. I banked Philadelphia to beat Vancouver. I've gone the New York Red Bulls win and draw at home against Dallas. I've gone 1-2 Orlando City and the Montreal Impact. I've banked Sporting Kansas City, and I've gone the field. Colorado, Minnesota, Seattle, Chicago, 2-1-6.
All right, let's look at the big one, Budge.
Then soccer 10. I spent a little bit more this week. I've gone Mexico win and draw. I've banked Molde to beat Starback. I've banked the Germans and Philadelphia Union. I've gone New York Red Bulls win and draw at at home to Dallas. I've gone Orlando City win and draw at home against Montreal. I've banked Sporting Kansas City, and I've gone the field in the Colorado, Minnesota, Seattle, Chicago, Los Angeles, Columbus Crew, 432.
All right, now the big one.
The big one.
Neil Tovey came and showed me his. He was going so well. He said, I'm going to catch it. I think he had German Hebrews.
Shame.
Yeah.
I've banked Belgium to beat Tunisia. This is all the international World Cup games, so at least it's decent. I've got Mexico win and draw against South Korea. I've banked the Germans, England, and Senegal to beat Japan. I've gone the field with Poland, Colombia, and Uruguay, Russia.
Okay.
I've gone Egypt win and draw against Saudi Arabia. I've banked Spain to beat Morocco. I think Portugal will beat Iran, while you could maybe bank France and throw the draw in there. Yeah. I've gone the field Australia, Peru, because they could both be out after today's games. I've gone France win and draw against Denmark. And I just think Argentina have got to beat Nigeria.
Have to beat Nigeria. They
didn't play well. They're better than what they've shown.
Yes,
they've got to turn up
They've got to turn up today, yes. It'll be a good game.
No, nothing to lose.
Right, but explain this to me.
Okay, I've gone Brazil to beat Costa Rica by more than 1 goal.
Got that.
I've got Belgium to reach the quarterfinals.
So that means win your
They've got to win. They'll win the set. Well, they've got to win the knockout stage.
One knockout game.
Yeah. So they'll have the winners or runners up in Japan.
Spain to win the World Cup.
I've gone Spain, but I just think They were like 9-2, 5-1, Paul. Of what I've seen, I think they're the most complete side. And I think if they win the group, they'll be in the better half of the draw.
Just touching on Spain for a moment. But they weren't brilliant.
No, they weren't.
No.
But, you know, the game was bar 20 minutes. They were always in control.
Yeah. They deserved to win, but sure.
Yeah, just looking at the other teams,
They got an own
Paul.
goal, didn't they?
Well, he claimed it, but it got driven into him. Yeah, the World Cup quad, I've gone Brazil to beat Costa Rica. I've gone Spain to beat Morocco. I think Senegal will be too good for Japan. And I've gone Panama, a team of hatchet men, to have a red card against England. 16-1.
But
I just watched them the other night against Belgium.
Red card against England. Wow.
They were crunching those Belgians. De Bruyne was nowhere to be seen.
Okay, let's see the next one.
Now, the second one, I've gone the over 2.5 goals route, Paul. I think Brazil, Costa Rica, South Korea, Mexico, Poland, Colombia, and Saudi Arabia, Egypt. 2,500 at 200.
Okay.
You know, I just think those teams, Paul, they've got to have a go now. There's no point sitting back. And both teams to score. I've got Nigeria, Iceland, South Korea, Mexico, Poland, Colombia, and Saudi Arabia, Egypt. The same bet, 2,500 at 200.
Right, on we go.
Now, the MLS one, I've gone Philadelphia to beat Vancouver. I've gone Sporting Kansas City to beat Houston. I've gone Atlanta to beat Portland. I've gone Real Salt Lake to beat San Jose. And I've gone win and draw Minnesota at Colorado. 13-1, 2,600 at 200. And the Swedish Superettan. I brassed it last week for the World Cup, but now it's back. I've gone Falkenberg to beat Degerfors. I've gone Helsingborg to beat Värnamo. I've gone RK Frej to beat Gefle. And win and draw Norby against Landskrona and Halmstad at Brage. 2,500 at 200.
My favourite page.
Yep,
Your
no
bets.
doubt.
I enjoy the bets because you found some ones red card. Gee,
Value, Paul.
Value should have gone for 3 yellows rather. But anyway, that sums it up. Great football every day.
Paul, right times too. 2, 5, and 8.
2, 5, and 8. Perfect.
Brilliant
for
times.
us.
We can.
We can get to watch
into
them
it.
all, and that's very good. So, Budge, just before we move on, who's going to win the World Cup? I'm going to ask you this each week.
Well, Spain of what I've seen so far.
I saw your bet you in for Spain, so we might talk
I think
about
it's
that.
value, Paul. You've got to also have a look at the knockout stages. If Germany don't win their group, they play Brazil in the next round. If Argentina runs second in their group, they play France.
Can England win the World Cup?
Don't think so, Paul.
Okay,
You never know. If they get the draw right and they get 1 or 2.
What country are you born in? Brazil.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. And there we got all the information. Thanks very much to Stevie B, keeping us up to speed as we build our way through this World Cup. It looks very exciting. I'm sticking with Brazil, but Budge has gone with Spain. So until
Jump ship. Well, we've got a couple of bets with France to come. Senegal to be
correct.
the top African team into France. So you don't want to gloat, but that looks like the top team, unless Nigeria get a result today. I can't see it.
No,
And they should go through Senegal. I think they'll beat Japan. That's them through.
okay, there we go. And there we go. Until next week, make sure you stay on side.